So today, we're diving into something really personal, a really insightful take on what makes an ideal life partner. We're going to move past all the generic checklists and explore one vlogger's heartfelt perspective, which is based on her own actual marriage. I mean, it's a question we've all probably asked ourselves at some point, right? What are the qualities that really matter in the person you're going to build a whole life with? Well, that question is really at the core of what we're talking about today. The perspective we're digging into today comes from the YouTube channel Ritu Diary. And what's cool is the creator shares her own definition of husband material, not as some universal rule book, but as her own reflection on what's made her partnership feel strong and meaningful. She kicks things off with this, and wow, it's a powerful one. In her eyes, the ideal husband isn't just a partner for right now. He's the actual foundation, the support system for their entire future together. That really sets the tone for everything else she talks about. Okay, so first up on her list, the husband as a family problem solver, and specifically how he handles those, sometimes tricky dynamics with the in-laws. The vlogger makes such a good point here. For a lot of women, a huge life change is getting used to a new home and family, what she calls the siswal. A supportive partner is basically the key that turns that transition from something really challenging into something manageable. He's the one who helps smooth over all the little bumps in the road. Okay, so it's one thing to just be supportive in general. But what happens when real conflict pops up? Let's say between his wife and his own parents. How does the ideal partner navigate a situation that delicate? Now, this is what I find so interesting, the process she lays out. He doesn't just jump in, take sides, or make the drama worse. Nope. First, he actually tries to understand what the problem is about. Then, he deals with it quietly and skillfully, making sure that everything calms down without making anyone feel like they were the bad guy. It's like being a master diplomat in your own family. All right, next up, we look at how the ideal partner is also his wife's biggest supporter, and not just for her own personal journey, but for her relationship with her family too. So she breaks this support down into 4 key things. He's actively helping her get used to new family customs. He's cheering her on in her career or whatever she wants to do professionally. He's encouraging her hobbies and personal interests, and this one is huge. He genuinely respects and cares for her parents, treating them as his own. And this slide just illustrates that balance perfectly. This isn't about blind loyalty. With his own parents, he's got the courage to stand up to them if they're wrong. But with her parents, he stands up for them, showing them he's on their team. See the difference? It's all about fairness and doing the right thing. Okay, let's move into the relationship itself. How does a truly mature partnership handle the inevitable fights and at the same time keep the romance alive? The vlogger keeps it real. She knows that fights are going to happen. An ideal partner isn't some robot who never gets upset. He's human. So yeah, in the middle of an argument, he might get angry. He might show it. But, and this is a big but, here's the twist. After things have cooled down, he doesn't just let that anger hang in the air. He finds these little, sweet, sometimes even secret ways to close that distance and make her smile again. It shows that fixing things is way more important to him than winning the argument. She actually gives this a name, mature reconciliation. And it's a 2-part thing. He doesn't just say sorry and move on. First, he communicates, explaining why he was upset, which builds understanding. Then, he follows that up with affection to actually make amends. That combination of talking it out and showing love is what she sees as real emotional maturity. And of course, this whole idea of partnership shows up in the little everyday things. From patiently putting up with her moods, which she playfully calls nakre, to making sure the romance stays alive, to jumping in and being an active partner in raising the kids, all while also caring for his own parents. It's a complete 360-degree view of partnership. So after laying out all of these amazing qualities, the vlogger brings us all back to reality. She moves beyond this simple checklist to give us a much deeper final thought. Which, of course, leads us to the big question, right? After hearing this whole list, you gotta wonder, is there some kind of perfect formula, a blueprint for the ideal man? Does that person even exist? And her answer is a very clear, very firm no. She really emphasizes that everybody is different. We all have our own unique personalities and ways of thinking. The whole idea of a one-size-fits-all perfect partner, that's just a fantasy. And we end on this beautiful thought. You're not going to find someone who's perfectly custom-made to fit every single one of your thoughts and expectations. That's not the point. The real message here is that finding someone you connect with, someone you can actually build a life with, that's where the true luck is. It's such a powerful reminder to value that connection and be grateful for it instead of chasing some impossible ideal.